Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zita, and on my channel I share with you DIYs and makeovers on a budget. And don't forget to follow me over on my socials at Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Etsy. For my first DIY today, I am going to be decoupaging on this canvas that I picked up from my local dollar store. It's a rectangular canvas. And first I'm going to give it a coat of white chalk paint just to prime the canvas. And I don't know if this was really necessary for decoupaging, but if you're going to, paint over a canvas, you should prime it with either usually painters would use a gesso, but I'm using this homemade chalk paint, and I will try this project again without using paint. So after the paint was dry, I did give it a light sanding with a 220 grit sand block, and I have this beautiful decoupage paper here, guys. Isn't this beautiful? So I'm just lining it up on my canvas, and then I'm going to push it down along the corners there just to get a crease. And you can either cut this with a scissors, but I'm going to use this huge acrylic ruler that I have. And this decoupage paper is really thin, so I was able to just use the ruler and just tear it along the ruler, and it worked out pretty good. But this could be a little risky with ripping the decoupage paper, so if you prefer to use scissors, you could do that as well. I guess I was feeling a little risky that night, but it all worked out and it lined up perfectly on my canvas. And now I'm just pouring some Mod Podge out here in an empty can, and I'm using a really soft brush, guys. I find it works better for not ripping your decoupage paper or napkins, whatever kind of decoupage medium you're using. So here I like to start out like from the center and work my way out. So I'm doing one half there, applying the Mod Podge in a thin coat, but make sure you get it down everywhere, guys, so it sticks. But don't put too much down so your paper doesn't bubble up on you. So I have an old plastic shower cap here that I use to smooth out my decoupage paper. If you don't have something like that, you can use a saran wrap. This shower cap that I'm using, I picked up from the dollar store, and it's a really thin plastic, so it works really well. But saran wrap or a plastic bag would work really well as well. So here I started on the second side, and this is what it looks like. And I let that dry overnight, guys. You don't have to let it dry overnight. You could let it dry a few hours just until it's dry, and then apply your top coat. I like to let it dry so it doesn't bubble up on me. What do you think, guys? Isn't this absolutely beautiful? I love it. Now IOD has transfers like this that I've done in the past as well on some wood, so I'll put that video in the description box below. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of this beautiful decoupage paper. I absolutely love these birds. For my second DIY today, I'll be making over this thrifted wooden sign that I picked up from the Habitat for Humanity, and you may have seen me do some of these frames before, in different colors, and I think I have a green one and a blue one. They had them at the Habitat for Humanity for like $2 each, so I picked up a whole bunch so I could do a bunch of different projects. So I'm giving them a coat of Fusion soapstone paint. Then once that was dry, and I did give it a couple coats actually, and then once that was dry, I applied this Polyvine dead flat varnish. And now I'm going to apply my IOD transfers. And for this one, I'm going to put some chickens on because they were kind of like white and black. So I thought that would really show up nicely on this beautiful gray color that again is called Soapstone by Fusion. So I'm just lining up my chicken here and some words that came with the chicken. There's so many beautiful transfers in this book. And I'm just doing some measuring here and to center everything up. And then I'm going to tape that transfer down. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I kind of put a little piece of tape so it doesn't move around. So you're going to pull that white backing from underneath your transfer, guys. And then you're going to burnish it down with the plastic stick that comes with the transfers. And you're going to make sure you burnish that down until it's all staying on the piece. And if you lift it up and you see that it's not all burnished down on your piece, just put the plastic back down, as you see me doing right there, and keep burnishing it until it's all burnished on your piece. And you'll see it kind of turn kind of like translucent, and that's kind of how you know that it's being burnished onto your piece. And I did the same thing with the bottom words there, and this turned out really beautiful. And then you can take that plastic piece that came with your transfers and then rub over the top of it and burnish it down some more. And right here what I'm doing is I'm taking some black paint, I'm dabbing it off on my paper that I have there, and I'm giving it a distressed look around the edges of the frame. Instead of distressing back the piece, I just use some paint to give it that distressed look. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button and also click that notification bell. That way YouTube will notify you when I post new videos. I work really hard on all of these videos, and I would really appreciate if you could give my videos a like and a comment, and please subscribe. So here I'm all finished up with my kind of that distressed look around the corners, and this piece is finished, guys. So if you haven't tried IOD transfers, give them a try. They make your piece, finishing a piece really quick. So for the final touches here, I'm just using some Varathane clear finishing wax, and this piece is all done. What do you guys think of this piece? This is simple and quick, and anyone can do this project. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of this one. For my next DIY here, I will be working on this little metal bucket with a black handle that I thrifted. And it has this beautiful tree and wreath imprint on it, which attracted me to it. And here I'm using a Fusion Ultra Grip. This is going to help your paint stick to the metal. And here it is all dry. It dries translucent. It goes on kind of milky, but then dries translucent. And right here I'm using a homemade black chalk paint. And if you haven't made homemade chalk paint, guys, I'll leave that in the description box. And so I gave that a couple of coats, and there it is, what it looks like when it's dry. Now I'm going to put a white homemade chalk paint over the top of that. And guys, what I should have done and what I meant to do before putting that chalk paint on was to put a polyacrylic sealer on. So when I distress it back right here, it would distress back to the black. But I forgot to do that. And as you notice here, I'm using a wet cloth and a scraper because this homemade chalk paint that I made, I didn't put as much water in the piece, in the paint, and so the plaster of Paris that I put in it made the chalk paint very hard to distress. So you might want to take a look at my chalk paint recipe so you can know how much water and stuff to put in there. So once this was all finished, and as you can see guys, it distressed back to the metal, and that's not really what I wanted, but it still turned out kind of cute. And I applied a coat of polyacrylic once everything was done. And then I put this little hydrangea in here that I got from the dollar store. Doesn't that look cute, guys? So this is a simple project that you can do and either resell it or keep it for yourself. So guys, let me know what you thought of today's DIYs, and maybe you'll like these two here as well. Check them out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.